Well, hey, Courtney. Well, yeah, federal regulators, they're only just beginning now to set down guardrails around AI, but they're already beginning to face pushback from lawmakers. A new bill would kill a yet-to-be-finished SEC regulation on how financial advisors use AI. Now, this rule would require firms to ensure that any predictive technology that they're using is free of conflicts of interest and that it puts the client first. But Republican Senators Ted Cruz and Bill Hagerty said that the rule goes too far and would be so costly that it would prevent any new technology from being used by advisors. Listen to what Bill Hagerty told Squawk Box this morning.
It would encompass anything from a small calculator on a website to a spreadsheet. It's not just focused on AI. And the impact of this will be increased compliance cost, increased liability, and therefore it will lessen the access of retail investors to the marketplace because the companies that are involved in this will just stop offering technological innovation.
While the bill doesn't have any Democratic support at the moment, Republicans might not need it. They could potentially take the rule down on their own if they can hold on to the House and win the Senate and then the White House this November. If so, they can overturn recently finalized rules from the Biden administration with a simple majority. And we'll be keeping a very close eye on those elections, those regulations, and how it all pans out.
Emily Wilkins, by the way, we have Ted Cruz on Last Call tonight, 7 p.m. I had to get that in. That's what I'm being paid, is just to tease the show. 7 p.m. We'll have Cruz on. Emily, can you, to talk about AI and maybe some other things. Emily, you're in D.C. I want to look good. Can you give me like a really smart question that I should ask Senator Cruz about AI? Because you know more about it than I do.
Well, one thing that we've heard a lot from Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, and I know that's a different party, but he's really touted this bipartisan working together on AI legislation. You'll remember we had Elon Musk, we had Mark Zuckerberg come up to the Hill, talk with senators. And so I'd really love to hear a sense from Senator Cruz on where legislation is at on AI, if he thinks that might actually be a possibility this year. I mean, we're already seeing the Senate struggle with things like passing this supplemental funding, getting stuff on the border done. They certainly have other major must-dos this year. And I think it's a very valid question if they're going to have time for AI.
AI just seems so far ahead of so many people's understanding. I just don't know how you can possibly regulate it as well when it's changing so rapidly.
Maybe they can get AI to regulate itself.
Oh, my God.
Write some good regulation, AI. I command you. And it'll happen.
And it probably could, right?
It probably already has. Emily Wilkins, thank you very much. All right, next up, efforts by social media companies to stop the spread of fake images like the Taylor Swift fakes, which burned up the internet for a short time. Julia Boorstin is here now with some new steps that Meta is trying to take to combat fakes. Julia.
Well, Brian, right now, Meta labels AI content that's created using its own AI tools. But the company will soon begin using metadata to detect and label AI images posted to its platforms from Google, OpenAI, Midjourney, and Shutterstock. Meta saying that this is the first time a company has been able to label AI that is not its own AI. Now, Meta's president of global affairs, Nick Clegg, writing in a blog post that they are working with industry partners to create common technical standards for identifying AI content, saying, quote, "We're working hard to develop classifiers that can help us to automatically detect AI-generated content even if the content lacks invisible markers. At the same time, we're looking for ways to make it more difficult to remove or alter invisible watermarks." Clegg saying they are building out this capability now and will start applying labels in all languages that they support through the next year when there are going to be a number of important elections happening. Meta says it's hoping to lead an industry-wide initiative so that nothing can fall through the cracks, especially when the risks of AI manipulation of elections could have such massive implications.
That was exactly what I was going to ask, Julia. And of course, you went right for it. I mean, that seems to be the big worry, right, is these AI-generated contents of any form, I guess, video, still images, or otherwise, percolating on social media during an election time. I mean, I understand what you're saying about the metadata and trying to identify that and then label that as AI, even if it was generated on another platform. Would that potentially then work the same in these political campaigns if they're AI generated?
Exactly. That's really what this is targeting here. I mean, I think what's so important to acknowledge is that there are still just a handful of companies that are making really compelling deepfakes. And we're talking not just about still images or video, but also audio. And there's a lot of research showing that audio deepfakes can sometimes be the most convincing because it can sound great and you don't maybe see that the video doesn't match exactly. So what this would do is be able to identify if these major platforms where you could create deepfakes are being uploaded and shared on, say, Instagram or Facebook, et cetera. So the opportunity to be able to identify, detect, label AI, no matter where it's created, would really be a game changer in helping to protect the integrity of elections and to avoid manipulation.
And so I guess then to that point, I mean, you use the word label, which is I think how you described it when they're using the metadata. But if it is AI generated content and it has to do with an election, would they simply just label it as AI as opposed to going so far as to removing it entirely?
Well, I think that all comes down to the sort of nuances of what the rules are on Meta. And for instance, they have rules saying you can't have content that's designed to incite violence. So there's some questions about that. And who knows what kind of deepfakes would be created either in a video form or a sort of still photo form. So I think that really depends on whether or not the content adheres to the rules of Meta. I think if you can label something and say this is a fake image, then that's very different than trying to say, hey, look at what's happening here. Look, there's a polling place that's on fire. Don't go vote. And I think that's really the risk. People being discouraged to vote or perhaps pushed to vote for one person or another based on fake content.
Got it. Fascinating stuff, Julia. I know you're going to continue to follow this. I'm sure you saw when Brian talked to himself as AI Brian. That was pretty crazy when you did that. That was eye-opening.
It was creepy to me, too. I was like, do I really look like that guy's more handsome than I was? It was annoying. But, yeah, it was really weird.
The voice, too, was also, I mean, simulating.
Yeah, and that was like last year. That was the early day. We should rerun that, by the way. People don't know what they're talking about. I'll repost it or something. But it was pretty wild.
It was really
and kind of scary about the implications of what's going to happen.
And that really opened my eyes to what potentially could happen, too, with us in news. Just to
like calling people up on a robocall in New Hampshire, telling them not to vote. Like that just happened.
That's just terrible stuff. Anyway, thank you so much, Julia. So AI replacing Bitcoin mining as the new energy hog. Pippa Stevens has a look at whether the energy grid is strong enough to keep up with this increase in demand. Just something else to strain this grid, Pippa.
Yeah, that's right, Courtney. When you think AI, big tech, and chips are probably what come to mind, but those chips are used in data centers, and those data centers need a whole lot of power. Electricity consumption from data centers could more than double in the next 2 years, topping 1,000 terawatt hours by 2026. According to the IEA. Now, to put that in perspective, it's equivalent to all of Japan's power consumption. And for the U.S. specifically, BCG estimates that by the end of the decade, data centers will use as much power as 40 million households each year. That's going to require new power sources and updates to existing infrastructure, with Morgan Stanley saying the rapid power demand growth from Gen AI is not well understood and not priced into a number of stocks. Power providers AES and NextEra Energy are two names they cite, with NextEra saying in its latest earnings report that growth is, quote, explosive at this point. Then there are the electrical equipment makers like Prysmian, Eaton, and Hubbell, as well as power management providers like Schneider Electric and Aspen Tech. So, Brian and Courtney, the bottom line here is that this opportunity goes well beyond just the big tech and the chip names when it comes to Gen AI.
And it's amazing, Pippa, because so much of these data centers are outside of D.C., Loudoun County, Virginia, sort of that area. It's like the data center hog. That's on the PJM interconnect, which is the grid system, the grid operator that runs all that. And PJM itself, less than a year ago, on a Friday night dump, came out with a report and said, basically, we don't think we're going to have enough power and electricity within 7 years because we're not building anything new. I got to imagine all these layers of data centers and AI centers, Pippa, are, to your point, where is the power coming from?
Yeah, that's right, Brian. And of course, this comes as we are already stressing out the grid with more things going electric, from electric vehicles to heat pumps. And then to your point about PJM, and actually a third of worldwide data centers are in the U.S. with that concentration outside D.C., as you noted. This comes as the interconnection queue has now grown to more than 5 years in some places, with all of these new projects waiting to come online. But it's just such a slow process. And so when you have this demand growth from data centers combined with some regulatory hurdles, it just seems like at a certain point we might come up short. And what does that mean for consumers and their power prices?
Pippa Stevens, an important story there.
Wild.
The grid op, Pippa, thank you.